With this feeling I can leave. I'm working and I'm dreaming. Will you dare to give it all up and walk by my side? Do you see the road? Do you hear it's cold? Do you want a part of it? Just getting me above now.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Bainbridge, your host, and you're on State of the Nation. This week, I have a very special guest introducing Mr. Phil Peters. Good evening.
And there you go. I am Jason Bainbridge on State of the Nation. As you can remember, that was a very old interview with Phil there. So just getting back into the groove, we switched over from StreamYard to Restream. I just had too many problems with StreamYard not allowing my audio. I don't know, every time I got onto it, it would change the settings. And so here we are anyway. So here we are. We're in Restream, and it's a little bit clunky. I got to admit, the very first time out with using StreamYard, so bear with me for the Sunday Source, and it's SOURCE, the Sunday Source. So we're going to flip over now, and to start off, we're just going to get a little bit sort of fun. There's a few things that I'd like to talk about tonight, but I'd like to talk about them in the context that they are worthy of talking, but not too heavy into it. And we have to be aware that sometimes we have to also take a lighthearted approach, and sometimes we also have to use comedy to demonstrate what's really happening. So without further ado, that's what they say, isn't it? Without further ado. But yeah, let's get into this little clip here. And this is a new show that I'm watching, which is kind of funny. And the guy really breaks the algorithms, to be honest, because he really uses comedy in such a shocking way that the algorithm just really has no idea how to deal with this character. So let's go through this. Now you might be shocked. You might think, "Oh my God, but this is all comedy." Okay, and this is a way to get around all the algorithms and to get away from all the madness, the heaviness, we're gonna kill it, we can take it back. There is a way to get through to people, and this is actually it, I think. Now you're gonna like hear his name, like, "Oh my God, he's a Stein. He must be Jewish." Well, he probably is Jewish, but then again, this problem isn't about Jewish people. The problem that we're dealing with are the Ashkenazi Jews. They're not real Jews, mind you. All right. So, just like Christians, just like Muslims, just like everybody else, they are not the real issue here. The real issue are this bunch of fakers sitting in power at the top who are causing all of this trouble. So let's get into it. And hopefully we're going to get some good audio from this, because I couldn't get it from the audio previously. Let's check it out.
Forward with it, because I think they've got blinders on.
Well, tell me this, you see a lot of people on the conservative side are saying, well, this is going to help Trump, that this is going to actually be, beneficial to him. I personally just, maybe because I don't have the 30,000-foot view, I'm just kind of looking at it closely. I think this is only going to hurt him personally. So what do you think? Does this benefit him, or does it hurt him in the long run?
I think it's actually hard to say, and I wouldn't try to guess. Here's the question. Does the ordinary American who doesn't pay daily attention to politics, who's just watching this from afar, do they watch this and go, well, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire. They wouldn't have done it if they didn't have something on him. Look, he's a controversial character. And so that's one possibility. And the other is, wow. Trump is not even in office. He's now basically running in the Republican nomination. He's clearly the leading candidate of the opposition party. And for the Democrats to do this would be akin to, a Republican administration arresting Obama. And imagine the reaction that would provoke. So it really depends on how this plays out with the ordinary guy. My guess is the ordinary guy is going to feel a sense of sympathy toward Trump, but will that be enduring? All of that, I think, is too hard to predict.
Well, What was that? Why did that end so fast? What's the deal with that? Wasn't that interview supposed to be 5 minutes?
Alex, I told you he got into some spicy YouTube topics, and
he was about to talk about how the Democrats are the real Nazis.
No, we don't bring it up. We just can't we can't talk about the election. We talked about this, Alex.
Jimmy, I don't give a damn what the fuck you think we can fucking talk about. You are literally a retard that somehow graduated from fucking Princeton. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I hired you because I thought you were smart. I thought you were funny. But guess what? I was the dumbass. I'm the idiot. So from now on, you are no longer the producer. I want fucking Brandon over there, and I want you to come here and talk to me right now. I got something I want to talk to you about. Come here right now.
Okay.
Brandon, go get it. Brandon, go produce the show. Okay. Brandon, go produce the show right now.
You want me to come on set?
Yeah, I want you to get your ass down here right now. Right now. Come here, Jimmy, hurry. Get your ass up. What's going on? Jimmy. Okay. Let me tell you something. I'm sick and tired of your bullcrap, okay? Okay. So I'm gonna need your help with this, John. I want you to hold his hands real quick, John. Come up. Yes. Just hold his hands real quick.
What is that?
Don't worry about it. Just hold his hands together real quick. Just hold them together like this, John. Okay, here. I'll hold them.
I don't like this.
Just shut up, Jimmy. I'm so sick of you. Because you know what? I don't feel like you're loyal. I feel like, oh, you have Seth Dillon saying, oh, they want to hire you. Oh, there's rumors of the Daily Wire. I feel like this might be some sort of false flag attack. And I want to know the truth. So we're going to ask you some questions, Al-Qaeda style. So what you're going to do.
Al-Qaeda style?
Yeah, Al-Qaeda style, Sharia law style. So get down. Okay. Lay down on the ground right now. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to waterboard you.
What's going on?
Just shut up. Shut up. Do not move.
What?
Do not move. Put this over his face. Okay, John, grab some water. Here's some water, John. Okay, shut up, Jimmy. Shut up.
Is this safe?
Yes, this is safe.
Are you
Hold
sure
this.
this is safe?
This is safe. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, Jimmy. I want to know right now. Do you care more about my show or you gaining followers on your Instagram account?
Am I under oath?
Yes!
Oh,
Answer the question, Jimmy! Answer the question, Jimmy!
Your show!
You
show!
pledge your allegiance to my show! What is your favorite show on the internet?
Alex Stein show!
I heard you have some things you want to talk to him about, John.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll...
John Doyle has some complaints too! Ah! How does that taste? How does that taste?
The first complaint is that you're not waterboarding him competently.
Okay. Hold it down. Hold it down. Hold it down. Okay. Keep your legs still. Keep your legs still. It's okay. You don't need to breathe. You don't need to breathe.
I think the reason this happened is they knew this was the day of the Trump indictment, and they knew that if they had him make a mistake, Alex would get derailed, and we wouldn't talk about the indictment. We start waterboarding his producer. So that's my theory.
Yeah, but you were talking about how you were mad at Jimmy because of some of the...
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you booked on the show!
Aren't you the guy booking Blair White and OnlyFans?
Apologize! Apologize to John! And say that you're going to start focusing on the show! Focus on the show! And you're going to help me gain followers and not you! Say you're sorry! Say you're sorry! I'm sorry! All right, you can have your job back. All right, go back there and go get back to work. No, just keep your hands tied. Brandon will push the buttons. Get out of here, Jimmy. Get out! Get out, dude. Get out. Wear this on your head and go. Leave. Okay, thank you, John. That was really beneficial.
That was very beneficial indeed.
Wait, so does that mean?
So we're going to turn that off now. So that was a bit of an intro as to what is technically going on in the world of the truth movement, and people are really trying to hurt each other to get the views, right? So I personally am not interested in that, but I just find it really funny being on this side of the fence. And as you can see, I'm here. Everything's working again. Finally, it took me an hour to fix all of this stuff up. So let's just get straight into it. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to get into here. And it's not going to be DIY aquaponics, although I do suggest that you do get into DIY aquaponics. everybody. It's a really good thing. So our first topic of the day is going to be a situation that has taken place in New Zealand, and we are going to look at a YouTube video from the Pakowhai community meeting. Now, a lot of you might already remember there was a big disaster playing out in Napier and Hawke's Bay, and there's a lot of water that was unexplained and is still unexplained. Somebody told me a different story as to what is currently running around on the mainstream theory. I don't like that story, to be honest. It involves super high-tech equipment, and I'm not going to get into it here. But what we're going to do is we are going to hear people had actually mentioned that there was some kind of explosions going on, and it kind of ran around in the world of conspiracy for a while. But there was a meeting here, the Pakowhai Community Council meeting, and so the local people who actually did hear it brought it up. So this is actually quite interesting. So let's just hook into that for a minute, and let's have a chat about it, because I'm very interested. Were there really explosions take place? I've heard that there were. In fact, I've been told that there were, and I was told who did them. I just don't like the answer. But let's find out from the community what they felt about it. Oh, we're not getting audio from these fellas. How is that? Mamma mia. Let's find out what's going on here. That's because that is me, and I need to turn that on. Here you go. That's why that's not happening. That's not happening. I'm still me. Here we are. And we have switched it out. All right, very good. We're now live and in action. Make that a wide screen, and we're on to it.
There was talk, I'm hoping it's only talk, because someone said that there was a decision to blow the bank. Is that correct or not? Are you guys just hiding from that?
No, not absolutely hiding, so I can tell you all about that. So there is a section of Stop Bank downstream from Waiheke Marae, and that's been constructed so it has a spillway segment, so it's not about blowing it up.
That wasn't the question. Did you guys blow the bank and not send contractors out to dig the bank away to relieve the pressure so Napier and Taradale wouldn't be hit?
So that's what I'm explaining. So that section of Stop Bank is downstream from Waiheke Marae at cross section 19 in the scheme. It has a spillway in it that can be removed with an excavator.
Did you do it?
No, so an excavator was mobilised to give us that option.
Okay, so that was at what time? 6 o'clock I was told, correct?
So that was early in the morning, yeah, about 6 or 7 o'clock.
How many people in this room did you ring that day to tell them?
Now, this is kind of interesting because what we have here is a whole bunch of rumor, because you saw the devastation what happened in Napier, right? So the very first thing that I did was talk to my contact from the White Dragon Society. That was the very first thing I talked to, because if there was something going on in New Zealand, then probably he might know, because he had contacts of MI6, MI5, different intelligence agencies and all that. And I didn't like the response. And so I decided that before I released his response, I wanted to do some research into it. And there was talk of explosions, and there was a lot of excess water, which was never ever explained. And still until today, this excess water has never been explained. It was diabolical what had happened. But then we're going to go back to, like, I think it was 1938, where you saw a very similar thing. But the problem is the technology that they were suggesting that was used this time was actually available back in 1938. So it's actually the same technology. It's not really something that's new. And so the big question on New Zealanders' mind is, where did all this water come from? right? We've had theories about dams bursting and releasing dams and breaching dams and this and that, this and that. But we've had people in our community just do the calculations and like, no, that wasn't enough water. That wasn't enough water. So we have a conundrum that we don't know where this water came from. So the last question I asked recently is, well, were there underground sources of rivers, for example? But here we're actually looking at the Pakowhai community, and they're actually asking them straight up, like, did you breach any dams or waterways or slipways or anything like that? And they flatly deny that they had anything to do with it. So let's get back into it. And now that you've got the context, let's let them finish what they want to say.
So the response was that it wasn't done.
Yeah, but the thing was, and then that contractor never got there in time and it burst. If you had intentions of sending them, would you not notify people? People's lives at risk and don't even tell them. I hope you sleep good at night.
You let us drown.
I hope you sleep drown. Hope when you cuddle your wife and that you feel the same as all us people here going through this trauma that you've created, but just not telling people.
So to be clear, the decision was not made to do that, and I stand by that, and I would like everyone to know that there was no decision, and so hopefully... That's right, we sent lots of contractors out to do lots of things.
And what was to do that?
But if you do that, why don't you send other people to say all these people?
I'm happy to answer questions one at a time.
I've got a question. The problem with these stock banks is they're built to a certain capacity and you're limited on how big you can build them by money and other things. So when your stock bank gets to capacity, it spills over. And
so you can get a really strong sense of the frustration among the people. Like what they're talking about now is that definitely there was an additional water source, which nobody can explain. This is the problem with this Napier issue, is that there was a huge amount of water, but with the swamping, nobody released the dams, you know, the swamping just comes straight up. But there was a velocity of water which came somewhere from the top mountainous areas. And it came down and it moved boulders, and those boulders kind of sounded like explosions as well, because apparently, according to some comments, that boulders can sound like explosions and so on. But the point is that there is a huge amount of water which has not been accounted for. And this is the community trying to get answers. Where did this water come from? And for the most part, they really just want to find out, why did you not warn this particular community, Pakowhai community, Pakowhai, I guess that's the correct pronunciation, Pakowhai community. They want to know why did they alert Taradale and the other neighboring township, but the Pakowhai community, which was stuck directly in between the two streams, which seemed to get hit really hard, they weren't alerted. So this is one of the big complaints that they have.
Scours out and you get 100% failure because it just rips it open. Can you use HDPE liner and make spillways on them? So when your stock bank gets to capacity, it then starts to spill over, and you might only get 10% of the water spill over. The other 90% still goes to sea. The integrity of your stock bank stays intact. And if we got 10% of that water, we would have got 300 mils. But because the stock banks scour out, we get the whole lot. So is that an engineering thing we can look at?
So yes, so we are looking at options. So as I said, we're spending the next 12 or so months to review how the scheme operates, so that in what we call an over-design event, it would behave in a known way. And so having spillways and other areas is part of that solution group set.
Very good.
Okay, so we've got 4 hands up here. We'll just have those 4, sorry, and then we'll move on.
I actually want to speak, Troy. You can't, because you don't intend to say all This is the official statement from your Facebook page where you have stated your plan, and there's some area where there's no threat to human life or property. Where's that magical area?
Yeah, where is it? Because
It's right here because there's people here and there's property.
So I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, this is not.
There's a knowledge.
Is that some clever cookie has found a statement on their own Facebook page. Seems like all the news comes out of Facebook and Twitter these days. Instagram seems to be like the go-to place to make money. But the real political platforms are Facebook and Twitter at the moment. So this guy's pointing out that they actually had a plan to relieve the slips, to relieve well, I guess they call them the slips, to relieve the banks. That's what they've got going on at the moment, and it's and the guy's pointing out that it's actually on their Facebook page. And so after that, they're kind of saying that, well, yeah, okay, sure, we did that, but we said that, but we didn't actually do it. So they're saying that they're preparing to do something in the area that was most affected, but they finally say that they didn't actually do it. So let's hear them out and see what they want to say about that.
Hawke's Bay Regional Council Facebook page.
Okay, Facebook page. So as I will say, and I'll say again, there was no decision to open the stock bank.
And that'll stand up to official information and scrutiny.
There were loud, regular explosions.
Okay, so they say there was no decision to open the stock banks, but now the crowd get into the idea that there were loud explosions heard throughout the day, which would indicate that somebody was blowing up something. Now, somebody also said to me, oh yeah, it could have been rocks falling and that kind of stuff, and that's true. Nobody really knows. But what I've been told is completely different to what any of these people have told me. I've been doing a small investigation on my own with a small group of people, and their findings are the complete opposite to my actual information that I've got. And the information I've got is actually not very pretty. It's apparently, anyway, it's not very pretty, but there seems to be evidence of some kind of explosion activity happening in the area, which is not related to rocks falling. So this is the big issue of the day.
All afternoon, that my 15-year-old and my 17-year-old kept questioning me what they were. We were up there all day listening to it. We heard the bridge go. I kept saying they're transformers, and then it got too deep. There was no way it was transformers after that. Getting into the afternoon, there was no way. There were loud, regular explosions.
Why don't you guys get the pay up and let's get on.
Okay, let's talk to that. That was a question.
That was a question. What were they?
And the person, the lady says there were loud, regular explosions, and initially she just pawned them off as being transformers. The kids are wanting to know, what are those sounds, Mum? They sound like explosives. But she's saying, nah, they're just transformers. But certainly, once the water got to a certain height, then those transformers were underwater and had already blown. So it got to a point where all the transformers were already blown. There was no source of an explosion because everything was underwater. It had already exploded, but the explosions continued throughout the day. Now, this is the 14th of February. So, and this has led a lot of people down a track. And this is why a lot of people find this entire thing suspicious. Everybody has an angle on it. Everybody is probably wrong, but everybody is right to be suspicious of this because nobody can explain the body of water, although they're really, really trying. And I condone. No, I appreciate everybody, not condone or condemn. I appreciate everybody that's doing their best efforts to find out what actually happened in this situation because clearly something is being covered up. you know, we've had a lot of information come out of this, and some people will brush it off as, oh yes, it's swamp water. Some will say, oh yes, it's you know, a release. But the problem was with the release, there's no government board, no council board has said that there was a release of water. So where did the water come from then? That's my question. Where did the water come from? Why did it cause so much damage? And these people are really getting into it now.
Answer the question, please.
So was the question, were explosives used?
Regular explosions that happen all afternoon. All afternoon, from about 11 o'clock onwards. I was there all day.
Was Red Cross counting the money?
So I can't
I was
comment.
not the only one that heard them. There were other people there that heard them too.
I can't comment specifically what those explosions were. I can tell you they were not from the regional council. If there's a view that we somehow blew up stop banks, we did not do that.
Hey, listen, okay. It doesn't matter if you blew the bank or you didn't blow the bank. Why did you only tell Taradale and Jervis town people to evacuate?
Sorry, I have to interrupt.
Why not?
This point is why didn't they warn the Pakowhai community? Why did they warn the two neighboring communities of this massive flow, but not the Pakowhai community? And they're very suspicious about this. And they have every right to be very suspicious about all of this, because I'm wondering, why didn't they inform them? They informed the two, and the whole idea behind this, the theory behind this that people are claiming is that to save the two outer cities, they sacrificed the inner city, which was in the middle. And this is what they're mostly complaining about, and that they didn't get warning or anything like that. And they have every right. And that is worthy. That is very worthy of inquiring into. Very worthy indeed.
Because it does matter.
Sorry, honey, you have to talk constantly.
If we're going to build, we need to know that we're safe to build here. That's why we need to know that that didn't happen or that it couldn't happen. Because we...
Lonnie, that's enough, please.
It's enough. I want to know why, in all your wisdom, you told Taradale and Jervetown to evacuate, but not the people between the rivers. Never once. Even when the river was up that high on their house, you're still not telling us a damn thing.
Put a helicopter up there pretty easy. Yep.
Can you just answer the question or the question?
Can I have an answer, please?
Yes, you may have an answer. So on that morning, I guess everyone was overwhelmed by what was happening.
Which is quite a fair statement. Everybody was overwhelmed. It's a fair statement, to be honest. I mean, even the investigative research teams are overwhelmed with this information. And it's a conundrum, because the mystery is, where did all the water come from? And after people doing calculations on the amount of rainfall and the swamp and the explosions and that sort of thing, it's pointing to an external source, which is not being calculated into. And the external source is what I've been told, actually what took place, but I've been trying to disprove it until this time. But so far, I've been unable to disprove my theory. And I'm using the scientific process. I'm not using a confirmation bias process. I'm really trying to disprove what I've been told what happened there. But so far, as this thing plays out, it's looking like what I've been told actually did happen.
just let him answer the question, please?
So we had all of the EOCs of all the council, different councils, the 5 councils across the region. We had issues of flooding all the way from Wairoa down to Pakowhai and inland. In the early hours of the morning, we lost large components of our telemetry system that gave us the information about what the rivers were doing. Early in the morning, we also put people on the rivers to try and tell us what was happening. Progressively, we lost phone reception and sending messages was very difficult.
You have radios. This would have happened overnight. It was 3 days coming from Auckland. Where were you people? It wasn't an earthquake. It didn't just happen at the snap of a finger.
We still had police at the end of bloody Brookfield Road telling people not to go down there. Why didn't they tell us to fucking get out then?
Yeah, so I cannot answer all of your questions right here and right now, but it all will come out when we look at this in detail.
We need people in your job that know what to do.
So can I ask a question that you're going to be rebuilding these stopbacks? So that going forward, that's what you're going to do. You're going to do this 1 in 500 year stopback, but it's going to take 12 months, 24 months. It does. I understand it does.
Raise the bridges.
But how are you going to keep us safe? Our home was under 6 metres of water. Driving jet boats over our roof to rescue the people on Pakowhai Road, and they didn't even know our houses on Gilbertson Road were there. How the hell are you going to stop that happening again? Because you'd be looking for us out in the bloody Pacific Ocean if we'd stayed here.
Yeah. We were civil defence on the night. We were though. Yeah, we were civil defence.
So there will be a full review of the civil defence management and the handling of the event. And it will be independent, and then the regional council.
And it bloody needs to be.
I'm Jock, I'm from the regional council too. I just want to say a couple of things really. Your questions are completely reasonable, but Chris, like a lot of the staff, actually a lot of people within our organisation have lost their houses too as a matter of interest, and I've got to say the staff have been working 100% since the event, so they are completely under the pump themselves. I just want to also note within that, we all want a good outcome, and the issue that we've just faced, it would have been mitigated a lot if we'd been able to lift all the stopbacks to 1 in 500 year level. Now that's more than $100 million exercise to do that.
This has already happened. This has already taken place. So it's not a once in a 500 year event. It took place, I guess 90 years ago. Roughly 90 years ago, it has already taken place. I can't believe that I'm that old. Please save me. Anyway, so we're going to get off that subject now, but that's what you need to know is that there was an amazing amount of damage, and it's still in question as to what exactly happened, because the idea of a cyclone or whatever, or a hurricane or whatever that they want to call it doesn't work. The amount of damage that it caused just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. So yeah, we are hoping that people are going to start to realize that something weird is definitely going down in there. And so for the next part, we're going to switch over now. I don't know too much about it. I'll let you know when I know. But what they're talking about right now is starting to slowly reveal itself as to something which seems to be external. But let's switch over now. Now we're going to go back to what happened last weekend. That was my very first broadcast since my reboot. And we're going to go to Kelly J. Keane, who is actually Posey Parker. And so we're going to touch on that topic for just a moment. And then we're going to finish off with the sentencing of Politica. So let's just stroll over there and share this tab and get that rocking and rolling. And let's find out what these folks are on about.
To the founder of Standing for Women, women's and girls' rights activist, Kelly J. Keane, who joins us. Good morning to you, Kelly J.
Good morning.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. You are back in the UK, having had to, well, let's be honest, flee New Zealand over the weekend after you were attacked by trans activists at one of your many protests that you've been holding, not just in New Zealand, in Australia, indeed around the world in recent months and years. Extraordinary event. Home Office Minister Chris Philp has in the last few moments condemned what happened to you. But let's just go back a little bit for people who don't know what your activism is about, what Standing for Women, your organisation, is about. What is the purpose of the tours that you do and the purpose of your organisation?
So quite a while ago, 2015, I discovered that we weren't allowed to talk about women anymore, and women's issues in particular, women's spaces, women's rights, etc. And so I realised that right at the centre of that is the word woman. And so I started a campaign to ensure we kept using it in place of things like birthing persons, menstruators, cervix havers, and so on, which is something that back in 2015 seemed like just preposterous that would happen. And here we are now in 2023. So what we then found is that women, when we tried to talk about this online, we were kicked off platforms. I won't waste time in naming all the platforms I've been kicked off of, but Twitter I was prevented from using for 5 years. So we decided to go back into the public square. We've been doing kicked off platforms.
She works for the United Nations. Can you believe it? She works for the United Nations, and she's apparently a chemist. She's apparently a very well-educated woman. And this is her task in life, to run around chasing people like, well, I'll call it Paisley Parker. Her name is Kelly J. Keane, but that is her job in life, to run around, take photographs at the United Nations and Southeast Cheese, and then go and attack everybody that is against their narrative. I mean, because let's face it, the WEF, the UN, the WHO, they're full support of the trans running everybody, you know. And then remember I said this last week, that there are two things that are leading to a decline of every empire that's ever been in history. And one is financial mismanagement or financial illiteracy, and sexual deviancy. And we are definitely at the state where we're at the sexual deviancy point. I mean, who really cares about trans? Nobody really cared about trans until they decided everybody hated them. Nobody hated them. They decided that everybody else hated them because they're gunning for the transformation of society. You see, most of these people are basically confused, stupid, and perverts. You know, nobody needs to be teaching all of this stuff at school. You don't need to be learning how to masturbate. You don't need to learn about heterosexuals and homosexuals at kindergarten. This is the sign of a very sick society. It's a very sick society. So this lady here has been seen photographed in the United Nations, and she is adorned in the entire system as being, you know, a fantastic person, an intelligent person. But what kind of intelligent person pours soup? Red soup, being, of course, blood, on a person who is just literally talking about women's rights in the country that is really famous for birthing the movement of women's rights. you know, and they're trying to shut that down. So, you know, what can I say about stuff like that? It just seems that it's contrary to what our traditional beliefs have been. Let's go back and let her finish this story.
I won't waste time in naming all the platforms I've been kicked off of, but Twitter I was prevented from using for 5 years. So we decided to go back into the public square. We've been doing these events since about 2019 in Hyde Park, and then we've stretched them to the rest of the UK and now the world. And it simply is about creating a space in which women can talk about the things that they are desperate to talk about because they feel isolated and gaslit by the state.
Yeah, indeed. Again, you were the person who printed the woman, adult, human, female dictionary definition of woman on T-shirts after you put it on the side of a building at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool, and it was taken down because apparently it offended people, even though it was a statement of fact. I've proudly worn your T-shirts out and about and still do. And I have to say, you're wearing a T-shirt right now, for those who are listening, not watching, saying woman. It's not a dirty
the average citizen. The state is working for an elect few. And if, again, I think last week I also said this, the movie Caligula. Watch the movie Caligula. It's very X-rated. But when you watch it, you get a fair understanding of what's happening right now. A very fair understanding of what's happening right now. And yeah, she's absolutely right. You know, this country pioneered violence against women. Remember once warriors? Remember that? All you Māori fellas, my clan, by the way, I'm legally Māori. Okay. And we'll get the co-governance on another show, but I'm not for it, even though I'm legally Māori and Pakowhai. Okay, and that's another episode that we're going to get into a little bit later. But yeah, let's take a look at this little chappy here that we have. Now, there's a little video, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, and I'm going to give them a bit of a run for their money. I'm going to play you a little video that came up, and I'm going to share this tab so you can watch this little video. And you know, I'm very fair. I'm very fair. Sorry, I had to get that maneuvered there. But yeah, let's watch this. Share this tab instead, and let's have a listen.
Hitting an old man, unprovoked, and rightly so, people were angered, but that's not the whole story. I went to YouTube and I found the full clip, and it may surprise you to see what really happened. So here's my play-by-play of the full 2-minute drone footage, not the few seconds being shared everywhere. We start the video with an overhead of the crowd at the bandstand at Albert Park. From 20 seconds, we get our first sighting of the two people in question. I don't know their names, so for the sake of this video, old man and drag queen. Note, both are standing just feet away from each other. Neither person looks to be confrontational at this point. For you, where's...
Here, I would like to interject, and I would clearly say, when you look at the older fella, people are going to understand that we are in a psychological operation, and that these people, both sides, they're all part of a game. And the whole objective of this exercise is to confuse people, right? As to pit left against right, trans against hetero. That's the idea. What we really need to do is strike up a conversation between all sides and find a common element in this. And also point out how are people being manipulated and how are they being used to benefit, well, the ruling elite. That's it. Because they will use anybody whatsoever. They will use anybody to achieve their goals. And they're trying to achieve their goals right now, but the problem is they're technically losing at the moment. And the common, what we call them normie conservative people are actually winning right now. So they need to double down in the Five Eyes countries, because Europe is just not going for it. You can see it's just they're just burning it all down. They have no tolerance for what's going on. But see, the Five Eyes countries, we're so conservative. We think it. We have someone pointed out to me today. Yeah, we have a should we right attitude. Yeah, we do have a should we right attitude, and we're not. The New Zealand convoy 2022 was the very first time that we saw the entire country come out. And I don't think it's going to be the last time, but it definitely was very impressive to see that. But we are being drawn into a battle of division. They want to divide the two sides. They want to divide heteros and trans. They want to divide the left and the right. They want to divide them. See, that's the only way that they're going to win. So if we can bring the trans community into a conversation with the hetero community, say with the left and say with the right, if we can start drawing conversations, then we're going to start finding common ground here. And we're going to start finding that some people are being used. And this is a clear example of being used. They're using both sides against each other. And this is a beautiful symphony, an absolute beautiful symphony.
There's Wally fans out there, you can see Chanel at 39 seconds, megaphone in hand, having a boogie. Jump ahead to about 50 seconds, and this is where it starts heating up. Posey Parker and her entourage vacate the bandstand, leading to a crush. We lose sight of Old Man, but Drag Queen can be seen caught in the ebb and flow of the crowd, still not shoving or adding to the issues going on. Someone else was being a bit of a bother though. Cue Old Man to return to the scene at 59 seconds, who for some reason decides to charge forward, grabbing a marshal by the neck, completely unprovoked. Now, it's at this point the drag queen sees what's going on and turns her body away from the crowd to the direction of the marshal. They look at each other and exchange words, probably something like, "Oi, this guy's smacking me about and stuff," to which the drag queen replies, "I got this." She swats her away to safety and gives the old man a swift bonk to the head for his troubles. But the marshal isn't done there.
And there you go. And that's quite clear. It's very clear. And so the thing is, like, who was the guy? Who was the old guy? That's the question. Who was the drag queen? Are they working together? Is it just a show? Are they trying to get the upper hand? We don't really know. We have to ask these questions, right? We just can't sit blindly, because this is a psychological operation. These are the most advanced psychological operations that's ever been put down on a simple country like New Zealand. Very advanced psychological operations. Remember, she said she's had several weeks of sustained propaganda. Right? Propaganda. What is propaganda? Propaganda is marketing. Marketing is propaganda. But when we think about propaganda, where does propaganda really come from? Oh, we think about socialists, communists, all that sort of thing. But don't forget, capitalist countries are kings at propaganda. What do you think you watch on TV? It's all propaganda. Everything, every movement to manipulate your mind over. Look what happened with the Kardashians. Once people started watching the Kardashians, all the teenagers became out of control. It wasn't that complicated. It's not difficult to understand that when you absorb something, when you watch something, you become a part of that. And these people have definitely become a part of that. But of course, being at Auckland University, it's not difficult to find 2,000 liberals. It's not difficult at all. And for the most part, they just want to be there for the fun and the rub and the ride. And they just want to, I think if you put them in Wellington, well, actually, we saw that in Wellington as well. They actually had a big crowd. They had a big crowd. But Wellington's very liberal as well. But I'm trying to think, like, maybe if you put that in a place where, like, you had a convoy again, for example, you wouldn't see them because too many tough people there. I'm pretty sure that if you actually had another convoy, these people might try and turn up, or they might do what they did the last time. They will try and infiltrate like they did last time. And they would become like friends of the inside leaders, the so-called self-created leaders of that, and they would manipulate it, just like the fire starters. The fire starters manipulated themselves into the leadership, and they were the people. And I've actually got a video, and I can clearly show you who started the fires. And they were not a part of the actual convoy or the movement themselves. They were externals. In fact, they were Antifa. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with these types of characters. The puppet masters are professionals at psychological warfare, and that's what we're dealing with here, psychological warfare. But let's finish this little video out and then move on to the next subject, because I'd love to get into this guy's Facebook page.
She wants some more, so clamps onto the old man, and they both drift away into the crowd, like Moses down the Nile. If you saw a fella grabbing a girl by the neck and pulling her down into a crowd, you'd probably do something too. So get off your high horse and don't believe everything you see on social media.
Yeah, very clever. I liked it. I actually quite liked it. You know, I give big ups to any side that can prove their point. And there is a misinformation and disinformation in mainstream media. Both sides are to blame. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into, these are really bad screenshots taken from somebody, but I have a very special treat for you. So this is a Chanel line. He says, I'm happy to be known as the fag that tore the fabric of society apart and destroyed the heterosexual dream. Okay, why? You were doing quite fine. You've been doing quite fine since Shocking Asia. Thailand has done quite fine without you. A lot of guys in Thailand are married to trans women. They set up families. Asia's quite famous for that kind of stuff. Like, you know, luckily my partner's a proper woman, but nobody's hated you until you hated yourself. That's number one. Nobody's hated you until you said they hated you, because no one's actually hated you. So you've brought this on all yourself. And let's take a look at some of his lovely words. Fuck you and fuck your father. Oh yeah. Kiwibank. Kiwibank, Person of the Year or Youth of the Year. This Pakowhai man is a fucking cunt. Wait a minute. You're not even Maori. You're not even Maori, Chanel. You're not even Maori. I'm more Maori than you. And you know, I don't even use the word Pakowhai anymore. Sheesh. Go fuck yourself, you stupid asshole. Oh yeah. And we're giving these people accolades and awards. New Zealand is fucked. November 3, 2021. Well, because people like you who work as a columnist for the New Zealand Herald fucked it with your social media attack. It's a media attack. It's a psychological operation. This kid will be thrown out. Once they realize his gig is up, this kid won't be worth a dime. But let's go and have a look at Chanel Lau's Twitter page. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yep. Yeah, look like a woman there, look like a man there, a woman there. You seem confused. Are you a woman or a man? They, them. Wow, that underestimates your confusion. So we're going to go through and we're going to find out what he says. More Palestine, Ukraine, Palestine. Well, we know that they're fighting Nazis, so. And we know that Zelensky is a pufta anyway. And they're sending 16-year-olds to fight their battles because Russia is pummeling them. This little fella, that I'm surprised about. I've seen his face around. I'm surprised. I don't know really who this fella is, but I've seen him about. Likes to shoehorn himself into the current issues. Yeah, wearing a little bow tie. Here we go. What does he say here?
I hope that this sends a message to all the nosy-posy paru puckers walking around with a dollar store Marilyn Monroe wig that you are not welcome. But this is our home and we're going to stay here. And I think this award right here, I hope that this sends a message to all the nosy-posy paru puckers walking around with a dollar store Marilyn Monroe wig that you are not welcome. But this is our home and we're going to stay here. And
I mean, seriously, nobody really gives a fuck about the trans community. Seriously. They're making a big issue out of it. Nobody really cares. Just like we don't care about gangs. Just like we don't care about all these other groups. We don't even care about women's groups. You know? Let them do what they want to do. If they want to be poofters, let them be poofters. They want to be trans, let them be trans. They are creating this issue by themselves. They're literally creating it by themselves. Google me. What was your achievement? Okay, so he actually pointed out, the finalist, Chanel. Dun, 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 dun. I am a man, but I'm not. But I'm a man. No, I'm a young New Zealander of the year. Dun, 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 dun. See that? Yeah, I went to film school. I know all about propaganda. I'm a director. I graduated in directing. Well, look at this fella. Oh, Chris Hipkins. What a surprise! What a surprise, Chrissy. Oh yeah, you look like a girl. I mean, what the hell is wrong with these people? They are so less concerned with running the country and more concerned with getting their hijinks, their sexual hijinks off. Remember Confessions of a Window Man and Confessions of a Taxi Driver? Now that stuff was fun, but this is sick, and it's a complete waste of taxpayers' money. And all they're trying to do is this is temporary. It's not even going to last very long. Dun, 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 dun. Chanel Love, first transgender person to win the New Zealander of the Week. Anyway, not New Zealander, New Zealander of the Week. And these two. I actually sent a message to these two when Wellington was in play, and I asked them to come and support the convoyers, and I got no response from them. These two old hags. Sorry, you're out. They weren't interested in supporting Kiwis. No, they weren't interested. They weren't interested whatsoever. Yeah, I actually sent private messages to you and asked you to come to Wellington and support them, and you said nothing. But you support this little mongrel here, who is not even a man, not even sure if he's a woman, but he knows that he's a person, a they or a them. There he goes. This is just like Johnny Depp. I mean, they're just actors at the end of the day. They're all actors. Oh, gosh, I went to film school. They're nothing but actors. They're actors. That's my job. Love doesn't need a cure. And religious conversion therapy. Didn't even know there was religious conversion therapy. You want to be a female, then just go to female therapy. You can stay away from religious therapy. No one's stopping you, mate. You're the one acting like a Nazi by pushing your opinion on everybody. Dun, 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 dun. So now I'm wondering, like, do you even need a Kiwibank account? Dum 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 dum. Celebration. Oh, check it out. Who paid for the hotel room? I must be a rich guy now. I'm invited into the Kiwibank. The Kiwibank must have paid for this hotel room. Yeah, I'm all of them. Anyway, these monkeys are still running around being idiots. So David Seymour, do you work for a living? From Saturday, you'll be giving more money to fund people who don't work. This is April Fool's Day. The joke will be on you. David Seymour. Well, ACT has a different approach. We will cut with spending to fund tax for every earner. I love it. David is a dick. Don't like David. Of course not. Because you're a lazy cunt. What do you do? What do you do? Aside from Instagram, you don't do anything. Anyway, these are the uses. Oh, and this is a fella. Right, this man allegedly pulled hair out of my friend's hand. He is on tape, grabbing a young girl and strangling her under his unprovoked arm. Well, under his arm, unprovoked. Now he is threatening me. Twitter, Ross Camp. Yeah. To me, he looks like special forces. Looks like an old special forces who was there just to cause trouble anyway. I love this. TERFs. I don't know what a TERF is. I've just heard it recently. A compliment is never wasted on me. I mean, come on, all these people. I mean, they're princesses. That's all they are. They're just princesses. Just, my heart broke when I heard of another mass shooting. Please tell America. Simon, when you heard about 3 babies getting murdered, what was your initial thought? Oh, got your Marama. The shooter identified as a transgender, you mutt. You go back in history, for the last 5 or 6 years, they've all identified as transgender. We can't say that because cis males. Sorry. Anyway, that's enough of my rubbish on this stuff. Anyway, these guys are complete morons. Don't know anything. Female. Well, how do you about all these guys that identified as a trans woman? Anyway, let's move on to our last stage. Okay, I'm going to share this video with you now. Yeah, I'm going to share this with you. Share this tab instead, and we're just going to shift gears.
There's some spirits around here with us, Whānau, because this is a spiritual war. This is no physical thing that's happening, and people are too much stuck into the physicality of this world. I live my day-to-day life in spirit, work on a farm, see things, but I don't see and tell people because they just think you're crazy. The days of our knowledge are gone, and I am the last of my generation.
Let's go.
Kia ora tātou e tātou mā. I roto o i nā aua tango o tēnei wā. E te whaere katoa no nā haue whā o Aotearoa nei. Tau mai ki te tautoko e te kaupapa. E te kaupapa mana mota ake e mo te iwi katoa o Aotearoa nei. E te mauri o te whenua nā mana a iwi. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou katoa, ki runga e te korowaia o Pakiwhanangatanga. E te whānau, ka hoki mai ki te whāpai, mō mana motohake. Mō tātou, kia mātou, tamariki me nā mokopuna. Māori, he Pākehā, o nā iwi, taki, tangata taki o te ao. Whakapiri mai. Ka huri I roto e te reo tuarua. We are here today, gathered today, to tell this corrupt house and the corrupt politicians that are in it, we say no! I want to let this corrupt house know, and Jacinda Ardern and the communists know, that he whakaputanga 1835, the Declaration of Independence, is going to stop them where they are. We are here to let this government know on behalf of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of New Zealanders who are fast waking up to the fact they are losing their land. They are having their land snatched by the global agenda of Agenda 2030 and the excuse of environmental communism. Farmers are losing 80 and 90% of their land. Why? Because because our dirty and gambler's pals want the land. They want you off your land. They want you in high.
Yeah, environmental communism. That's actually what it is. It is environmental communism. Absolutely, it is environmental communism. And as you can see here, this was 2021, and this was post the NZPP or Advanced New Zealand Party. And this fella here now has been judged and sentenced to 4 months in jail, and his partner or co-conspirator, they would say, Vinnie Eastwood, who's actually probably the most learned person in this country, well more learned than I am, about geopolitics. And you can't get too many people at Vinnie Eastwood's level. And they're afraid of these people. With Billy's personality and Vinnie's knowledge, the pair of them are a force to be reckoned with. Really. Now, there are a lot of haters out there. People have complained to me, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. You know, this guy, you know, people are upset with him because of this. Yeah, people are upset with a lot of people. You get that in life, you know. I haven't had the smoothest of deals myself. I've been involved with big deals that went south and didn't work out. And sometimes people will lose. That's the truth in life. But you just got to make it right to them. Even though that thing doesn't pan out, you just got to make it right. So if you are feeling that you need to have something made right, you have to approach a person and talk to them and get that cleared up. But this situation right now is New Zealand is on the precipice of losing all ability to express themselves. Now, I said this in my documentary SOS New Zealand, which I published on my BitChute channel, and which has only garnered 1,000 views, which is surprising, to be honest. But this is what's really going on now. So we're going to catch up with Billy from his latest broadcast since being sentenced. So we're just going to switch tabs here, and we're going to check out what's actually going on. Don't forget, you can become a partner in Advanced New Zealand.
Well, kia ora, good evening, everybody. It is great to be here. I tell you, I totally did not expect to be here after Thursday's shocking day. I cannot talk about my appeal with my sentence, but I am allowed to talk about that which has been promoted in mainstream media. So I can talk about the sentence and talk about the whole experience that myself and Vinny went through on Thursday. And just want to say thank you to all of you for your prayers, for your love, for your thoughts. And you know what? It became even clearer to me the other day that I'm also fighting for all those communities that don't know what's going on. I'm fighting for the rights of even the trans people to be trans people. You know, that may sound like almost an oxymoron, but it's true. People should be allowed to live free without government overreach, without anyone overreaching in their lives, and that's the whole point of it. You know, the trans community have got no right to overreach into your life. If they want to do their thing, go and do it. If you want to be a communist, go and do that. If you want to be a lefty or righty, whatever you want to be, go and do it. As long as you're not harming people, go and do it. As long as you, as long as you're not harming people, you should have the right to live as your conscience dictates to you. And so, yes, I am, I am absolutely sticking up for everybody. You know, even these people that fire missiles at me continuously, that don't know what's really going on. I mean, you know, so many people have been celebrating what's happened to Vinny and I, and they don't realise where our hearts are and where our intent is. And, you know, I just want to say one thing that I say often, again and again and again, this is not a left and right issue. This is about right. This is about decency. But it's also about standing up for the right and calling out the evil as well. I don't believe that, you can actually, I think you can be prudent, but I don't actually believe that it's possible to be a good, honest, caring New Zealand citizen and not speak up against evil and wrong when you see it. You don't need to be a Christian to do that. You don't. You just need to be the right type of person, an honest person that will speak up against the evil. So kia ora tātou e hoa mā. Welcome. Kia ora to you all. Welcome, my friends, and I do appreciate your company tonight for the Sunday roast. Now, I just got a text from Sister Karina. She was doing some bar work today, by the sounds of it, at an event, and she's going to be running late. So we'll continue on as we do, but make sure, please, that you hit the share button. That's really, really important. Please hit the share button. Why? Because we are getting slammed and we're getting censored and all that stuff. You know what's going on. I don't need to tell you by now. All right, just some quick pieces of news. So we didn't get to do this.
All right, so these are the issues that we're dealing with on the day in New Zealand. These are very important issues. It's almost as if New Zealand has become like Beverly Hills 90210. We're trying to deal with really serious issues, but the mainstream media has lowered the value of it, and that has affected people. People are backstabbing and fighting and sort of teenage style stuff, which has been going on. And I'm very fair. I like to think that I'm fair, that everybody has the right to free speech. But you need to focus on what's the actual battle. For 2022, there was a lot of disruption with people just complaining about each other. The freedom movement complaining about the freedom movement, which was really useless, completely useless. And it was a part of their agenda anyway, to infiltrate and just to get to backbite and divide and conquer strategy. So what I would recommend to all the groups, the most powerful groups in New Zealand, is to find one thing that you have in common and do a Wellington 2.0 based on one thing, and make it really clear that it's a pure response, and just get one thing that you want to achieve and work together to achieve that one thing. Whatever that is, just achieve that one thing and work together on one thing, because you're taking too much time, and the time that you're losing, the country is losing. So we're gonna finish off here with this little video of Vinny, my tribute to Vinny, and a little bit of a song at the end, just to make it cool. All right, so I'm gonna switch over this tab now, and we're gonna finish up here at how long have I been going? About an hour and 8 minutes. That's good enough for me. That's all I want to do. So thank you for joining State of the Nation. I'm going to leave now, and I'm just going to finish the video off with some music. That's it. All right. Thank you for joining State of the Nation. I'm Jason. Stay safe out there, and just don't buy into all the drama. Save the country, people. Save the country. Push the drama aside. You're all very intelligent, powerful people. Just start working together and start getting higher level class. That's all you need to do. All the haters and all the complainers and all that, just push them away and put the most smart people at the front that are not interested in stuff like that. There's so many claims, there's so many attacks, there's all this kind of stuff, and most of it's not even true. A small percentage might be true, but that's people. That's what you have to let go of. Some people. And I want to address this thing about money. You can't do this without money. You can't. This is not a job for people on wins. This is a job for people who know how to handle money. You're dealing with an endless bank account that is quite happy to wipe you out. So get off this whole thing about being afraid to earn money. But you've got to make sure that the money is managed by professionals, not by losers, okay? A single mother who's never dealt with $30,000 before should never be in charge of a bank account. Okay, but then again, a corrupt lawyer who's in charge of $30,000 should also not be in charge of a bank account. You got to get somebody who's got really high morals and knows his transparency. In our group, Convoy 2022, we had David Hosking, very transparent. I mean, he would be like the ideal person. If this thing were to actually happen again, he would be like the ideal person. But then again, he doesn't want me to mention that because he's retired and he's ex-government and all that kind of stuff. But somebody like that, who is very transparent, is not money motivated, and knows how to get things from A to B to C to D and get things done. And that's what you need. You need people who are just interested in A, B, C, D, and not their personality. Once you get past all of that, New Zealand, you're home free. So let's not take it anymore.
Speech from that Network 1976. I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their jobs. Tyler buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers got a gun under the counter. Punks are running around in the streets and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do and there's no end to it. We know our food is unfit to eat and our air is unfit to breathe. We sit there watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everybody's going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller. And it's like, please, just leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster, my TV, my steel belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not gonna leave you alone. I want you to get mad. Yes! So when you protest, or when you riot, or when you write your congressman, or when you're anything right, all I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being, god damn it, my life has value. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Throw your hands in the air and say it, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. I'm mad as hell.
I said no! We ain't gonna take it! We're not gonna take it anymore!
most serious thing I've ever been a part of, and we need to do it right.